So you want to make a motion graph box thingy? That's all I got for you today because we got a lot to do. Hey guys, welcome back to TutsByKai. I'm Kai, and today we are back in Blender 2.8 Eevee once again, taking a look at what I just said right there. And so many people asked me to do this. A couple people asked me to do something similar, so that's what we're doing today. We're gonna go ahead and hit B to box select and get rid of all of that stuff in our scene because we don't need it. I'm sorry, default cube. We're gonna select our camera, hit Alt G and Alt R to clear the rotation and location. RX 90 on my numpad, G, Y to move it back there. 0 to go into the camera view. So I'm gonna hit Shift A and we're gonna add in a cube. Actually, we could have left default cube, guys. I messed it up. Oh no. I'm gonna hit Shift A to add in a plane and hit RX 90. So the plane's facing right way. Hit S to scale it up. So now it's huge. 0 to go back to the camera's view. I'm going to select our camera and just pan this back a little bit more. So G double tap Z, sorry. Just do something like that. So it's a little bit bigger. With our cube selected, our fake default cube, he's an imposter. We're going to hit S to scale this up. And then maybe SZ to scale it like this. Maybe SX, make it a little bit wider. So you should have something that looks like this so far. With our plane selected, we're going to go to the modifiers tab and add a modifier of Boolean. And then in the object, we're going to select that cube right there. Then we're going to hit apply. And now if we select the cube, we can delete it. And now you see we have a nice little carved out space that we can work with, which is nice. I'm actually going to select our camera and go and change the resolution from 1920 to 2000 by 2000 and make it a square, which is kind of weird, but it's not weird. You'll see why. And now I want to make our camera zoom in a little bit more. So G, double tap Z, make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And now I don't like the shape of this, so I'm going to change it by hitting SX, scale it in a little bit, SZ, until I get it the way that I want. I want this to be the way I want it to be. It looks pretty good like that. Sweet. Now, I'm going to hit Shift A, and we're going to add in an image as planes, and then I'm going to go find my image. All right, I found it. It's right here. I'll leave a link to that in the description. I got it off pixels.com, my favorite image website ever. We're going to go ahead and hit Use Images as Planes here, and now you can see the image is there. But I want to move it back and scale it up. So hit G, Y to move it back behind the little plane that we have with the hole in it. Then we can go to material mode so you can see what I'm doing here. There you go, that's the image. Then hit S to scale this bad boy up just above the edges of the top and bottom, so it's not like that. So it's just a little bit in there. 0 to go back to the camera's view. Now you can see we have that nice image in there, and we can just move it around to whatever part we want to showcase. I want to leave it pretty much in the middle, so we'll just do that. All right, cool. In the material tab, I want to go ahead and turn specular all the way off and turn roughness all the way off because we don't need any of that. With our white big thing here with the hole in it selected, I want to hit this little drop down, select the material, and then change this from Principled BSDF to the holdout shader. And you guessed it, that's right. We're going to go to the scene tab here and uncheck viewport denorthing because it bugs me. Go to film, check transparent. And while we're here, we might as well go to color management and change it from filmic to standard so we have a real color instead of their muted, faded color because we want our colors to be white since we're using motion graphics. All right, cool. Now, if we go to render viewport shading, you can see we now have the transparency every single where our big plane is, which is nice. That's what we need. We go back to render viewport shading real quick, and I'm going to turn my world tab color to solid white. There we go. So now we have actual color. Now, we can go back to material mode and hit Shift A to add in another plane. So mesh plane, RX 90 on my numpad. Left click to confirm that. Middle mouse button panel on my scene, by the way. G, Y to move this back just a little bit so that it's not touching the white back there. And I kind of want to do some stuff here. So I want to hit G. You see on the, this is the plane. This is the big thing. This is the one we just added. So I'm going to hit G, Y, move it as close to that as I can without having it be behind it. So there we go. So we have enough space to do some other stuff later on. Cool. Now I'm gonna open up my timeline here. Hit S to scale up our plane, and RY to scale to rotate it kind of that way. RY. Then S to scale it up a little bit more until it's completely covering every single one of the corners. Now we have it all set and ready to go. Now I want to change my start frame to 0, of course, and then we'll go ahead and hit this little back arrow to go to the first frame. I'm going to hit G and double tap Y. G and double tap Y to move this plane back right there. So just the corner, it's just off of the edge of the corner there. So we don't need it anymore for a second. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to maybe frame 100 and hit I location, and then go to 110, and then hit G and double tap Y again, and then just move it about all the way until it's covering everything, almost covering everything. Then hit I, location, then go to maybe frame 140 and hit G, double tap Y, and then move it all the way over so it's covering everything. I, location. Now, what we should have is this. Super cool. But I want to change my my frame rate to 60 as well. So go to the scene tab. I'll put tab right here. Change frame rate to 60, and now it should look much better. There we go. Now, in render viewport chaining, you can see how when we have the plane come in, you can see we still can't see all that extra bit because we have the holdout shader plane here. So this is really cool. So what we have so far is this. Now, I want to go ahead and do some more stuff. Of course, we're going to turn my overlays back on by hitting this little button. With the plane, with the image, I want to, on frame 10, hit I, scaling, then go to 20, hit S to scale it up, quite a bit, actually, like that. Hit I, scaling, and then on frame 50, I'm going to hit S to scale it up just a little tiny bit more, just so we have a little bit of smoothing effect. Hit I, scaling. Now, when we play this, you can see we have a cool little zoom in effect there, which is nice. And now I want to grab our plane because it's way far away. Our plane is coming in. Make sure everything is selected by double tapping A down here. Hit G, and we're going to move this to frame 45. Maybe frame 40. Maybe 35. Move it to frame 35. We'll do it to 30. Yeah, we'll move it to frame 30. And then we'll select our image and then hit G and move this to the first frame. So it starts immediately. There we go. Now I want this to be super quick, so we're going to move this even back further. The plane animation. Move it to, geez, man, even... we'll do 40 so I have time for the text. Yeah, alright, cool, that's fine. We'll do that. Now I want to smooth this text a little bit, this image a little bit more, so hit G to move the last keyframe to 60. Hit S to scale up just a little bit more. Insert that keyframe. With just a little bit of nitpicky stuff, you know, I guess. We'll get rid of that frame because we don't need it. Just a little bit of nitpicky stuff, you know. Alright, cool. Next thing I want to do is add some text. So hit Shift A, add in some text. Hit RX90 on my keyboard. Go to the text tab. Change this from horizontal, from left to center. And then we can go ahead and hit font. And then select our font with this little button right here. I'm going to be using Babe-ass New. I love that font. We're going to hit tab to edit this and only leave one letter, only the T. Now, whatever you want your font to say, of course, you're going to have more or less letters, but the more letters you have, the more time it's going to take. So we're going to just go ahead and go down to maybe frame 20 and hit GZ to move this out of the camera's view, and then hit I, location. Then on frame 30, we'll move it back up, so about right there to the center. Hit I, location, and then on frame like 60, we will... we'll be moving it over some more. But for now, we'll just leave it the way that it is. So we're not going to add that third keyframe yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Shift D, right? Shift D to duplicate this. Right click to cancel the movement. And then the same thing twice more. So 3, 4 times. All right, cool. So you're going to want to have to do that for every single letter. So you're going to need a separate letter for each of these. So you can see we have 4 letters over here now. I'm going to select the one that says 001, which is the next one in line. And then hit G in my timeline down here and move this up by 5 frames. Then hit the second one, move it up by 10 frames, right? You get the idea. Next one by 15. And then if I had more letters, I would keep going, but I don't have more letters, so we're done. So that's T, E, X, T. So we're going to change those now. So I'm going to select this second letter and hit Tab, hit Delete, and change that to an E. This one can go to an X, and the last one can stay how it is. So now all of those letters should say text when they come up like that. But I want to move them around because they're kind of going over top of each other. So we're going to fix that by going on the next frame, whatever the 10 frames away from the last frame is. I want to hit G, and then we'll move it over like that. Hit I, location. Same thing with the next letter. So E, we're going to move 10 frames up right there. Hit GX to move it over. I, location. Now, we're going to actually go ahead and select this plane and hit H to hide it for a second because I want to see what I'm doing. And then with this last T, we're going to go up 10 more frames, sorry, and then hit G, X, and now we got some.